Hello, everybody, and welcome to Robert Sarazin Blake from the Kitchen Table. This is the Kitchen Table. I am Robert Sarazin Blake, and this is my associate, David Pender-Lofgren.
Happy to be here.
We are coming to you live every Sunday from the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state in the lower 48, bringing you songs, stories, guests, and requests. David, who is our guest this week?
This week, the guest is Texas-born singer-songwriter Jolie Holland.
I am so excited to have Jolie Holland join us at the Kitchen Table. I met Jolie a long time ago, and I've been a fan of her work for 2 decades, and so quite a thrill to have Jolie join us here at the Kitchen Table. But before we get started, we'll light a few candles. Here we are. I'm going to light a candle. We started the show coming up 2 years ago when the pandemic struck and we started locking down, and we've lost a lot of people to the disease. So we're going to light a candle for all the lives lost in the pandemic. And we're going to light a candle for all the suffering. There are still people sick. There are still and will continue to be empty chairs at kitchen tables. So we're going to send thoughts out to everyone who's missing somebody because they've lost someone to COVID. And we are going to light a candle for gratitude and for hope, because as bad as things have been, we have to believe they'll get better. So once again, Jolie Holland is our guest this week. We are so excited to have Jolie Holland at the Kitchen Table. And it is Valentine's Day tomorrow, so we're in a bit of a Valentine's mood. So we're going to kick it off with a love song here from Bob Dylan. One of my favorite Dylan songs. One of the most rewarding things about being a Bob Dylan fan is there's still new good songs that he's creating. It's just a journey. This song came out about 10 years ago. Some people turn off the lights and live in the moonlight, passing by. Some people scare themselves to death in the dark, where the angels fly. Pretty maids all lined up in a row outside my cabin door. Never wanted any of them wanted me, except the girl from the Red River shore. Sat by her side for a while and I tried to make that woman my wife. She gave me her best advice and said, go home and lead a quiet life. Been to the east and I've been to the west. I've been out where the wild cannons roar. Somehow I never did get very far from the girl from the Red River shore. When I first laid eyes on her, I could never be free. One kiss and I knew right away she should always be with me. Dream dried up on me a long time ago. I had to fall back from the door. True to life, true to me, the girl from the Red River shore. I'm wearing a cloak of misery, and I've tasted jilted love. A frozen smile upon my face fits me like a glove. Can't escape the memory of the one that I'll always adore. All those nights I laid in the arms of the girl from the Red River shore. We're living in the shadows of a faded past, amongst the fires of time. Tried not to ever hurt anyone. I I've stayed out of a life of crime. But when it all was said and done, I never really did know the score. Each day is just another day away from the girl from the Red River shore. I'm a stranger in a strange land, but this is where I belong. I'll ramble and I'll gamble, the hills will give me a song. Though nothing looks familiar to me, I know I've been here before. Once 1,000 nights ago, with a girl from the Red River shore. Go see about it once. Went back to figure it out. Everyone I'd known who had seen us there had no idea what I was talking about. Well, the sun went down on me a long time ago. I had to fall back from the door. Wish I could spend every hour of my life with a girl from the Red River shore. There was a man who lived a long time ago, man of sorrow and strife. Whenever anybody died and was dead, he could bring him back to life. Don't know what kind of language they used, or if they do that kind of thing anymore. Sometimes I think nobody saw me here at all, except the girl from the Red River shore. Sometimes I think nobody saw me here at all, except the girl from the Red River shore. From Bob Dylan, The Girl from the Red River Shore, outtake from Love and Theft. That record came out 20 years ago, and the outtake was released about 10 years ago. And I love the song the minute I heard it, so such a pleasure to play it for you here from the kitchen table as we get ready to celebrate St. Valentine's Day. And as always, we request that you write where you are viewing from. We'd like to know how far and wide this kitchen table stretches. Where does it go? We know it goes all the way to Guelph, Ontario, because our friends from Guelph, Judy and Bellingham, sent us the ingredients to make their favorite drink. We do have a drink of the week for those of you who are joining us for the first time at the kitchen table. Every week we have a drink together so that even if we can't be in the same room, we can be on the same flight. So here we are with ingredients sent all the way from Guelph, Ontario. What they call a Caesar, we call a Canadian Caesar. And David, you've done a beautiful job.
Well, the work was all done by Judy. Really, she sent us all the ingredients in a package. Sent it post to Bellingham from Guelph, and I just had to mix it up.
I'm wondering if it needs a revitalizing mix.
I think it probably needs a mix. I think we squeeze the lime in.
Squeeze in the lime.
Squeeze in the lime. This is
the olive.
We were given the opportunity to have potentially a spicy Caesar, but I went with the classic.
The classic
first.
Caesar. So we hope some other people out there are joining us in Judy and Billiam's drink. They've made this recommendation. We tried it once before, but it was immediately obvious to the viewing audience that we made an incorrect Caesar. So Judy sent us the ingredients. So we raise our glass to you for joining us here at the kitchen table. Canadian.
I've heard Canadians can tell a incorrectly made Caesar from thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
So
So we're interested to see if what we're drinking this time is anywhere near the mark. We do have a trivia question this week. Of course, the trivia question is, in the Billy Bragg song Valentine's Day is Over off his 1988 album Workers' Playtime, where do the gentleman's possessions end up at the end of the song? That is the question. We hope we remember to answer it later on, but until then, we're going to get back into some more music. And Jolie Holland has recorded a C.R. Avery song, and of course, C.R. Avery is no stranger to the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state in the lower 48. So I've had the pleasure of seeing C.R. perform many times. Hence, I learned this song here from C.R. C.R. Avery's song called 4 a.m. Text, to help us celebrate St. Valentine's Day. Some women take nude photos of themselves and send them to my iPhone. It's 4 a.m. in East Vancouver. I'm lying in my bed all alone. Wondering what has more calories, a 6-pack of beer or a bottle of French wine. It's probably a box of chocolates. Happy Valentine. Some women quickly remove their clothes so I can paint them in the nude. When we're finished, sometimes we make love, but don't let it be misconstrued. An artist's life might have its perks, just ask B.B. King or John Prine. They got 12 ex-wives between them. Happy Valentine. Some women come up to me at the end of a gig when they've heard me sing my song. It's hard to wear baggy underwear under tight jeans, so I am forced to reconcile with a thong. It's kinda like Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Adventure, except this one's mine. Waiting for the Greyhound bus in the morning. Happy Valentine. Some girls in high school didn't even know that I did exist. I got reacquainted with one of them last summer, but there was no fire when we kissed. Back then everyone wanted to make it with the popular pretty girls. I'm here to tell you it ain't that divine. Find someone in the glasses with a book in the back of the room and tell her Happy Valentine. Some women bring the best friend on a first date, and if you're shy, things just got a little scarier. But when buttons start getting unbuttoned, you think, hey, the more the merrier. But it doesn't have to be like some porno. Just ask Gertrude Stein. Or like Paris in the 20s. Happy Valentine. Some women are actually men. Learn to call she and him. Don't be such an ass. For years we called dykes tomboys. From our country singers to the ones who taught us gym class. Gay teen suicide at an all-time high. Don't it shivers up your spine. We gotta pray for the day that the church wishes the gay Happy Valentine. Some women are beautifully complex. They can't find shelter in the body if in the heart a coward dwells. It was another great night in the valley when Billy Holiday met Orson Welles. And when the studio bosses found out about the affair, he told them to stick it where the sun don't shine. She said he's a cool cat, but more than that, he said to me, Happy Valentine. I know most of the women right now, you're thinking, I'm never, ever, ever gonna sleep with you. I totally understand, but actually I'm kind of tired. So here's what I'm gonna do. Next February 14th at 4 a.m. you will open your phone to find a picture of me buck nude in East Vancouver saying Happy Valentine. From the great C.R. Avery, Happy Valentine. Not sure if he ever recorded that on a record or not. Gave my love a cherry without any stone. I gave my love a chicken without any bone. Gave my love a baby with no crying. I gave my love a story knows no end. How comes there a chicken without any bone? How comes there a cherry without any stone? How comes there a baby with no crying? How comes there a story that knows no end? It's hard to talk to strangers hard to trust men, suspicious of anyone who wants to be a friend. Mother lost it after the divorce, your brother the closet when you were alone in the house. Husband who controlled you, told you what to wear, where you could eat, how to wear your hair. You needful of binding you, needful of blinding you, needful of winding you down, down, down. The blackouts from drinking, stories you don't tell, tugging on the arm, begging and pleading. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing compared to your joy. Empty mailbox on holidays and birthdays. Say it doesn't bother you, you moved away. Grandmother died when you were 10. No one was around, you took your first boyfriend. Years on acid, years on booze, and a cloud of smoke with nothing left to lose. Your friends who forgot you, your father who was toxic, the man who took you when you were unconscious. You got mornings waking up, wishing you were dying, falling asleep as crying. Make it go away, I would make it go away. If your pain was a dragon with a sword I would slay. Cause your pain from the past, it will linger and betray. I just hope it gets a little bit better every day. But it ain't nothing. No, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing compared to your joy. The cherry when it's blooming, it has no stone. The chicken when it's pippin', it has no bone. The baby when it's sleeping knows no crying, and the story that I love you knows no end. Still it ain't nothing. No, it ain't nothing. No, it ain't nothing compared to your joy. Thank you, everybody, for being with us here at the kitchen table. We are here every Sunday live, 5 to 7, bringing you songs, stories, guests, and requests. And our guest is Jolie Holland. We are so excited to have Jolie on the show. And if you're tuning in for the first time, yes, Jolie Holland is on the show, just not right now. We're going to play a couple more songs, and then it will be time for Jolie to come onto the show at the kitchen table. But we have a tradition here. At 3 songs, we have a third song check-in. We just like to check in with what's happening out there in comment land in Etherville. What are people saying in the comments, David?
Well, Robert, you won't be surprised to hear that the Guelph, Ontario contingent of the Kitchen Table Irregulars is here. Judy is having a spicy Caesar, and Bellingham is having a spicy cheater Caesar. Say that 10 times fast.
A spicy cheater heater, a spicy cheater heater.
Caesar.
Caesar. Spicy cheater Caesar. Spicy cheeser Caesar.
And Bellingham informs us that in Guelph, you can actually buy a Caesar pre-made in a can, so you don't have to spend as much time as I did preparing them prior to the show.
Yeah, this is we live, we learn, we love. You know, this is what happens here at the kitchen table, all sorts of things. And one thing that happens at the kitchen table is we answer the trivia question. David's going to answer the trivia question because he has it over there. I know the answer in general, but the specific answer is so good. The question again was, in the Billy Bragg song Valentine's Day is Over on his 1988 album Workers' Playtime, where do the gentleman's possessions end up at the end of the song?
The landing, love between two people, must be based on understanding. Until that is true, you'll find your things out on the landing.
The gentleman's possessions end up on the landing. Love between two people must be built on understanding. Until then, you'll find your gear out on the landing. That's from Billy Bragg's St. Valentine's Day is Over, 1988. And we like to encourage everybody to please make a donation. Tip jar is out and available for you. David, is the tip jar on the screen? Do we have that going?
You can sort of see there's like
this
there's
area
a glass
here,
underneath Robert's
somewhere in here.
fretboard there. And if you put tips in the tip jar via the first link in the description, you'll actually see your tips drop down on the screen.
Isn't he something? Thank you, David, putting together all that. If it was me, it wouldn't be happening at all. Not only would that not be happening, but nothing would be happening without David putting it together. Please do send us some digital tips, and then we send a big old bundle of digital bread down to Jolie at the end of the show. So we appreciate the tips are going to everybody. David, anything else we need to talk about here at the third song check-in?
I think, these beverages are sort of upstaging us with the greenery on them. I think it is worth mentioning that if you do want to find out about the drink of the week in the future or who the guest is for future shows, there is a vibrant conversation happening midweek at the Kitchen Table Irregulars Facebook group, which is where we hang out when we're not at the kitchen table.
Jolie was kind enough to come up and play for us at the Subdued String Band Jamboree last summer. We got to swap a few songs on the stage. I did this one. I thought I'd do it again. This song is more or less unrecorded. Other than that, it's going to be released on a live record of mine from the 2018 Jamboree. And I'm telling you, my friends, I'm going to get organized on this. I've been scheming it for, 3 or 4 years now. I keep on thinking I'm going to get to this project, but there'll be some announcements on that, hopefully next week. I thought if I said something on this week's show, that would really make me try a little bit harder, just a little bit harder to get the job done and have some information about releasing that live record before too long. A song called Sarah Marie. Want to tell you about this photo that I got last night. Oh, but you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. Only you will get it right. Well, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. I can see the way your eyes would light up, kinda like a question we'd both laugh. I want to tell you the story of this photo that I got last night. Oh, but you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. I met two dancers at a seaside bar. They were gorgeous, they were travelers, they were dressed like mid-century movie stars. One from the Ukraine, one from Kazakhstan. The salty air, we sang summer in Siam. That's when I got this photo that I took last night. Oh, the breeze was blowing us on to a little after party after the bar last night. We had to keep it going. Past the guitar, night started to sway. sang the sunny side of the street, we sang Sade. Played a few ballads and it made them both cry. Kissed their hands and cheek, said goodnight, goodbye. You ought to see this photo that I got last night. Oh, it's gone and gone and gone. When I get home, you won't be there anymore. But you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. You're on the other side with the angels and saints, with the trees, the breeze, the waves and the lakes. I hope you're at peace and there's no pain at your door. But I can't tell you my stories anymore. I want to tell you the story of this photo that I got last night. But you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. Wake in the half-light, and the birds singing summertime. Only April over your shoulder, your hand to mine. Making it all disappear, making it all disappear. Morning moonlight, bring it on. Sheet on your head, you slipped into the day you're gone. It all disappeared. It all disappeared. By now we know, if we go slow, clock is a race, get left behind. And if there's a breeze on a warm spring morning, birds and your warmth entwine with mine. Take it, keep it, for the murder of dark days beats down our gaze or replaces with song Awake in the half-light, and the birds singing summertime. And coming all the way from someplace warmer than it is here, would you please open up your hearts, your ears, and give a warm kitchen table welcome to our friend Jolie Holland. We'll get that intro worked out a little swifter next week. Really, we're getting the details together here. But I know that Jolie is on the other end of the line. It's just a matter of getting the signals through the wires. You wouldn't believe the amounts of ones and zeros, cables and screens that it takes to connect our kitchen table to your kitchen table, to Jolie's kitchen table, to a kitchen table anywhere it may be. And I'll take this opportunity to tell you next week, Aoife O'Donovan is our guest. We are planning on Cedric Watson the week after that. And then Matt Faulkner is going to be the guest, and then we'll round out the series with a great singer originally from Brooklyn, New York, now living in Los Angeles, Mara Kay. So we have a great series, and then there will be a St. Patrick's Day special. For those of you who are local, please come down to Boundary Bay Brewery. We'll be doing an outdoor St. Patrick's Day show 5 to 8. And for those of you who are far away at a kitchen table of your own, we will be streaming that St. Patrick's Day show as well. So what can we say? Hey, is what we can say.
Hi.
Welcome, everybody. We are so excited to have Jolie at the kitchen table. We can see Jolie. I can't hear Jolie yet. And that's a personal problem. It's absolutely a personal problem. I got the earphone in my ear, but now I'm plugged in here. Aha, aha. Jolie, how are you?
I'm good.
Okay, you're bringing us some warmth.
Yes, it was. I think it got up to 90 here today in LA.
Just knowing that there's somebody who's experiencing warmth makes me feel warmer. It doesn't really feel warm here, for a long time. It's not that we're cold, but I wouldn't say we're warm for a very, very long time. You know this. You have spent part of your life in British Columbia.
Yeah. And that was like, like such a revelation coming from Texas. Like I didn't know what it was like to enjoy seeing the sun. Like
yeah, right.
It took me like a few years of living there before I actually missed the sun because I, got the overdose of being in Houston.
What's Joseph Conrad say? There is no joy in the relentlessness of the sun. We'll look to one of our listeners to actually get that quote accurate.
Wait, I've never heard that.
Well, you might have heard it when it's spoken correctly. But the essence, we experienced that up here for the first time. We had actual heat for the first time this summer. 3 days where it was 100-ish. And we were all, blocking our windows from the sun. We've never done that before. And we were,
People nearly bought air conditioners. Nearly.
We thought about it. We had a bowl of ice and a fan in our window trying to make... Yeah, right. That was serious. Now, where you're just living in 90. You just have a glass of water. Everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, but it's only 90 for like a couple hours,
okay.
Because it's the desert. So it cools down every night.
And I find it's much harder to write songs when it's sunny than it is when it's cloudy. How does a person who lives in a sunny place deal with this situation? Or maybe you feel differently.
Because it's so sunny, and if you, from my complexion, you can tell, like, I don't really like being in the sun all that much. I'm, like, I have to, I walk the dog for 20 minutes and I'll get a sunburn.
Yeah.
So, you make your own gloom by hiding from the sun, like we all have to do.
Yeah. And you stay up late.
When I lived in Houston, we were such night owls. Not so much here,
Yeah.
It's really, it's like they say, it's like amazing weather in LA.
Yeah, yeah. Loudon Wainwright III says, when it's gray in LA, I like it that way.
It's really it feels really amazing. Like the um, when there's any variation, it just feels like such a big deal.
Yeah, yeah. Because otherwise, it's blue skies shining on me.
Yeah, and it's 70 degrees and all that,
Wow, wow.
like just like the cliche.
We like to hear that. I mean, I'll speak for myself and everybody else here in the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, most northwest state. We just like to hear that there's some place that exists where it's warm and sunny. It just is nice for us to know about that. And we don't, we like it here. We don't have to, it's not a problem. We don't want to have that, or otherwise we'd move. We'd be your neighbor. But we like to know that there's another possibility of physical feeling. Well, people didn't tune in to have me run the lip about the weather, but they do want to hear you sing. I want to hear you sing, and so excited. Thank you for taking the time to tune into the kitchen table, and thanks for coming up last summer. It's been great to get reacquainted, and we'll just pass the stage over to you, and David will be back in a few songs to ask you some questions, and I'll jump in only if there's just something I have to say between songs. Otherwise, the floor will be yours, and I hope to not bother you if I do jump in.
Thank you so much. It was so fun to come up for the Jamboree. That was such a beautiful festival. We had such a great time.
Cool.
And it was amazing to see Winston Jarrett play.
Yes.
That was so cool.
Yes.
Like a real, like old school reggae guy. Oh my God.
I'm glad you dug it.
With Yogo Man on drums was so beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, that was a joy. It was this little blip in COVID. It's like things were normal. If you were in the Jamboree, it was mostly a normal experience. And looking back from a 2-year perspective, it's like, really? We did that? So.
Although it was really sparse, right? It was like, yeah.
It was, maybe a third attendance, but it was,
okay.
For those of us there, we had plenty of room.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was so much fun. The smoke was hard to deal with.
We had that going on, as if a pandemic's not enough.
Yeah, it's a dog pile of the apocalypse.
Well, sing.
Okay.
Sing us away. I'm so excited to hear you play.
This is a song by my friend Buck Meek. Well, you can't fool me with your blue eyes. You can't fool me with your eloquent locution. You can't fool me with your fine society or flaming illusions. You can't fool me with the secrets advertised with every other glass of wine. Well, no, but you can fool me with your tears. You fool me with your tears every time. Every time. Well, every time and time again, I am the loser. In the end, will you bring me right back to where I began? Well, I know you aim to use me. Please excuse me, but I know you do. I can tell you all these schemes and flipsy parlor tricks I ain't getting through. You can't use the sunlight of your eyes to soften words of ice. Well, no, but you can fool me with your tears. You can fool me with your tears anytime. Every time, well, every time and time again, I am the loser. And in the end, will will you bring me right back to where I began? More wine will tempt the moon on to rising. Well, you can use me with your tears. You can use me with your tears anytime. You can use me with your tears. You can use me with your tears anytime. So that's by Buck Meek. And then I'm writing this song. I wrote this song called Haunted Mountain. It was just a 2-verse song, and then Buck wrote another verse for it. So here it is. It's supposed to have a lot of harmony on it, so it'll feel naked to me, but nobody else is. It's not recorded, so nobody else would feel the absence, I think. Before I lived here on this haunted mountain, I was walking through the valley on my own. Darkness all around me, I looked to the sky and saw you wreathed all around in a golden cloud. All of my life I've been around it, traveling across this green land. Now that I live here on this haunted mountain, I know I'm never coming down. I know I'm never coming down. I know I'm never coming down again. I drank the water of this haunted mountain, saw a young girl reflection in the falls. The river rose around me, I was swept up in an eddy, dragged for a mile and nearly drowned. Every dewdrop on this haunted mountain is like a tiny crystal ball. Early in the morning I peer into the living leaves, and I prophesy with the light of dawn. All of my life I've been around it. Traveling across this great land. Now that I live here on this haunted mountain, I know I'm never coming down. I know I'm never coming down. I know I'm never coming down again. I, I, I'm really happy that you played that Dylan song. Um, I've been working on like a straight up blues, which feels so weird. The blues feels like such a uh I mean it's so American and everything, but it's just so it's I mean it I don't want to say it's a cliche, but like I mean I love a lot of cliches, like something I was hanging out with this guy who was like old punk rocker dude, and he knew Mark Rebo since Rebo was a kid, and he said one of the things that he loves about Rebo is that he's not afraid of a cliche, and he you know he meant that like musically,
Yeah, yeah.
and we
Certain
need
things are just are. And you can't avoid.
right.
If you spend all your time avoiding them, you're avoiding. You know, is it a cliche when two bricks are together at the right angle, they form a building? You know, we must, you know, acknowledge the facts.
Well, so, yeah, some things are necessary, and it's I mean it's interesting like being kind of outside of a genre looking in, you can kind of get this overview and this idea of like um, well these are the flavors that make this thing, you know. um, anyway, this is this blues song I'm working on.
Cool.
I was listening to a bunch of Memphis Minnie last night. I didn't write this last night, but I kind of put it together last night.
Wow. Are we
And
lucky or what? Fresh off the notebook. I love it.
well, it feels weird to write songs and not play them for people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought like this is an opportunity I could just cuz it feels weird to me. I'm really questioning it. And I mentioned like I was really grateful to hear some Dylan because he's like that too. I mean, he's not afraid of the blues. So,
Dylan's definitely not afraid of playing a blues. For there's one
yeah.
thing everybody who love him or hate him can agree: the man plays a lot of blues.
Yeah. And Lucinda, you know, just thinking
Oh,
about these people working in these veins. So this is like just to talk about kind of where the lyrical content comes from. My friend Stefan Jacusko, who lived in Bellingham for a little while, um, he uh, developed this kind of language around. Um, I mean, him and his girlfriend Vanessa Vasilka are really great at just kind of like coming up with kind of lingo, and they talk about paradise language, and it's just kind of like being super straight and it's like through the template of Dante's Inferno. He was a big Dante scholar, um, and most people haven't read the you know like some people look at the Inferno because it's kind of more I don't know like more lascivious or whatever, you know, but by the time you get to Paradise, it's like a little, um, it feels a little cold or something. But Paradise language in this kind of lingo that they came up with is like just saying the really positive stuff, like just without any shame, because people are we're often afraid to like um, um, be really straightforward. And especially coming from like my background is kind of anti-hippie, like I came up around like all these like kind of gutter punk type characters, you know, so like we couldn't stand the idea of like wielding positive language without absolutely meaning it. So that's kind of like the background of that. And I've had this experience a couple times where somebody said something really great to me and I literally kind of blank out
Hmm.
because it's like I can't like deal with it. You know,
Yeah.
like I and my one of my best friends, this guy Tim Freeman, he says stuff sometimes it just gets me so high that I literally can't hear I can't really remember what he said, you know? He's the best. He's amazing. But and like one time I met Lou Reed and he said some
Whew.
really sweet stuff to me and I had to ask my friend who was standing next to me, "Hey, what did he say?"
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so this is it talks about it's like this paradise language. Well, you can talk about paradise. Or you can talk about paradise. I see it on your eyes. Or you can talk about paradise. I see it on your eyes. What I heard about tomorrow, it's all on your mind. Tell me, baby, tell me, baby, what was that you said, my darling? Tell me, baby, what was that you said? 'Cause it shot straight through me like a blade streak of lightning through my head. Sitting around heaven like I got nothing to do. It's been just like heaven since I've been home with you, home with you. Since I've been home with you. It's just like heaven since I've been home with you. Sweet baby, sweet baby, lightning struck me twice, my darling. Sweet baby, lightning struck me twice. Throw your arms around me, fall on to paradise. And I'm just alone here, so there's nobody to play it with me, and so that's just it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Digging it. Thank you, thank you.
Because you know, I mean, talk about cliches. You know, you've got the blues. You gotta have some wanky solo in there.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad I'm not a lead guitar. Well, is that true? I mean, I wish I could play lead guitar, I suppose, but I'm glad I don't have the problems that a lead guitar player has, right? Like there have been so many great lead guitar players. There's almost more cliches than there's not cliches if we're talking about a blues guitar solo. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's
Um,
tough.
speaking of Rebo, he had a really great description of the role of um, the role of the guitar solo
Uh huh.
in the blues. So the rhythm section is like the Greek chorus
Uh huh.
that's like telling you your fate, and they're just like, this is your fate, this is your fate, and they're just like completely like they're a broken record, and the guitar solo is like, no, like the guitar solo is like raging against the night, and the
Yes.
chorus is like, no man, your bed is made, your grave is dug. And then the song, as the solo moves along, eventually the guitar solo is like, I know I'm going down 6 feet in the ground. So
That is beautiful. That is a nugget I'm going to put in my back pocket and think about the next time I listen to Elmore James or somebody that I love to listen to play guitar. Very cool.
yeah, I still haven't read Rebo's book. He just put out a book. It's called
Oh, wow.
Unstrung.
Cool. He's in LA. Everyone's in LA. You're in LA, but LA's a big place, and it's usually there's a lot of traffic. So, do you have a musicians you collaborate down? Is that why you ended up moving to LA to hang with musicians?
My favorite family lives in LA.
Okay.
That's how I ended up here. But no, I lived in New York, and Rebo lives in New York.
Okay.
He's gonna be here tomorrow though, so I'm gonna go see him play tomorrow at Zebulon, which is that's really exciting.
Cool.
I
Very
haven't
cool.
seen him in a while.
Richard Thompson was in Bellingham yesterday, and I wasn't
Mm.
able to go. But he lives in LA. Although he
Mm.
said, when you live in LA, you live everywhere and nowhere, in his interview. Uh, I don't know. I haven't lived in LA, so I just have to ask questions. But actually, speaking of asking questions, we passed the question asking over to my associate, David Pender Lofgren, for a segment of our show we call A Deeper Dive with the Drummer.
Awesome.
We're workshopping the name. If you think it's, we can look at the comments to see what the kitchen table regulars
This is the
think
first
about
time
the
we've
name.
actually introduced the name.
Yeah.
I like it.
Cool, I love it. I just started playing drums too.
No way. Well, that just shifted our entire interview segment to the drums. Have you really been playing the drums?
Yeah, I have an amazing band where we are a Velvet Underground tribute band called Velour Sur.
Ooh.
And I'm mostly Mo, although I'm sure I will be Kale, and I'm sure I'll be Lou at different points, because I play viola like
Right.
Mr. Kale, and I'm the singer, so I'm sure I'll do some singing, but like so far I've just been the drummer.
Please tell me you got one of those stand-up cocktail kits so you can look the part.
So far I've been sitting down, but she has a very heavy hand, so like sometimes two sticks in one hand to get her sound.
Whoa. Wow. And I mean, that's not the you are a multi-instrumentalist and have been essentially since you started playing music, right? I mean, I've heard that you composed very early on like toy piano when you were a little kid, but then learned piano and viola and guitar sort of over the years, right?
Yeah, I started in like I was 13, and there was like back when they had music in public schools, and
Right.
and got to play viola with the school orchestra, but it wasn't like a very deep education because I never had like private lessons, and I just had like the school instrument. So um and then my wonderful friend Tess Wiley, who she was like 2, 3 years older than me, and she lived in my neighborhood, she taught me how to play guitar.
Wow.
and she's professional. She joined that band called Sixpence None the Richer, and
Wow, no way.
like left and she lives in Germany now. But yeah, I was really lucky to get to learn from her. But I was really self-taught. Like I never had any like long-term, uh, formal education with anything.
Sure. And you were a visual artist too, right? Before, like, I've uh, I've heard you talk about a little bit, like, sort of doing poetry and visual art and music all at the same time.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like why I sound a little different than a lot of songwriters because I do come from like a fine art background, but I didn't go to school. I was on my way to the museum school in Boston. I got accepted there. I would have done my academics at Tufts, but some really wild stuff happened in my life. My boyfriend um, did something crazy, and it was like, such a bummer. And so I just ended up. We were going to go to school together, and I was like,
Okay.
to hell with this. So I stayed in Houston a little bit longer, and then ended up hitting the road. And then music sort of took over, So like instead of going to college, I started the Be Good Tanyas, and then um, I had my own record deal with Anti Records um, by the time I was 27.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I wonder. Do you feel like I think the Be Good Tanya is, at least for my group of people that I hung out with in college, the Be Good Tanyas was like really central to a lot of the music that we listened to. Like, that was certainly my introduction to you. But as artists, we sort of grow and evolve and change a lot. Do you feel like having fans who met you in those early days, like, is it weird to reconcile who you were way back then and the art you were making then with the artist you are now?
I mean, I don't have any problem with it, but I do think there's some level of cultural misogyny that that's sort of like it has this kind of weird way of like not seeing women as people, and so I think like there's sort of more room culturally for like seeing men as um, artists to evolve, but like there's like some super bizarre, creepy thing about oh well you're not doing the thing that I expected you to do.
Right.
So yeah, it's I don't exactly understand it, but I've definitely experienced a lot of really bizarre expressions of that.
Interesting. Is there something you can do as an artist that, like, pushes against that directly? I mean, I guess keep creating art, right? Keep pushing new stuff in front of people.
Yeah, and it's I mean it's interesting to me to look at somebody like Nora Jones because she has so much power from making millions from her very first record. And so you think like, somebody like her, she is first of all, she's an incredibly talented musician, but she has stayed in the same vein.
Mm.
She didn't really change her brand. She didn't. Well, I mean, she did a little bit. She started that Willie Nelson cover band, which was really sweet. And forgive me, I might not know that she's been doing some other stuff, but she didn't have any radically different projects or move in any radically different directions. She was just like, well, this is the way that you met me, so I'm gonna keep this outfit on.
Well, I mean, once you're part of a machine that big, too, I'm sure the pressure is immense to just keep cranking out that same sort of style and the stuff that the producers know works, or that the record execs know works, right?
Well, I mean, sort of, but like I would argue, of course, that like I'm saying like the pressure is more on an artist that hasn't made a whole lot of money
Mm.
to stay the same, or like more marketing pressure on somebody who's um just doesn't have. I mean, I've been really brave because like that's just who I am, and like I love playing music, and I want to express myself, and I am surprised that she didn't, because no, she could do anything she wants. I mean, she's after that first record, she could have done anything,
Right.
and she chose to stay in the same vein.
I'm curious. It feels like you obviously are like pushing and evolving your music, but you're also branching out into all of these different. I found out that you have a podcast about ghosts or ghost stories.
Yeah, well,
Another
I've
facet
been.
of your creative life.
I mean, I don't do that very much. Like people didn't really respond to it that much, so I didn't really pursue it. But like I collected hundreds of firsthand ghost stories throughout my life.
Whoa.
So yeah, I that's interesting.
Wow.
And
Well,
like I don't necessarily like believe in ghosts. I just want to hear people's stories. So I'm coming at it from like a skeptical-ish point of view, but like really respecting people's synchronicities.
mm, mm. Yeah, I have to admit I listened to a little bit of the first episode, but it seemed like mostly you were talking about the Abolish 2021 project that you put together last year.
Yeah, that was I just turned it into talking about that project, and
What
I
they
was
call the pivot, right? We're
well,
pivoting to.
that was I tried to use the Ghost Story project as like I was just talking to a lot of the musicians who were on there, and they would tell me some weird story from their life, and then we would just talk about the project.
Hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about the Abolish 2021 project?
There's this great group called the Abolition Apostles in New Orleans. They're relocating actually, but they're trying to start a hospitality house um, associated with Angola, like pretty close to Angola.
Which is
Um,
like the state prison in Louisiana, is that right?
yeah, it's one of the most egregious prisons in the states. It started out as like a plantation, a slave, um, like a farm run by enslaved people, um, and it after slavery ended, it just became a prison, and it's a horrific place.
And the project was to raise money to what help people stay closer to the prison, right?
So it's really hard to get there. So especially if you don't have a lot of money, you're trying to go visit your brother, you're trying to visit somebody in your family out there, and it's incredible. It would be incredibly expensive. Like there's no like hotels around there, and there are some hospitality houses that they were modeling themselves after. I think there's one near Huntsville. So um, yeah, it's a thing. Like they were hoping to start this place, but we raised about $30,000
Wow.
during that festival, which was I was super proud of the work that we were able to do.
Hmm.
But they're part of the reason why they're moving is they want to get out of the South where people have more money, and it's also not like the water that um, Southerners and Louisianans are breathing is this like complete brutality. Um, to get out of the South where there could be some more effective donors.
Sure. Well, I could ask you questions all night, but I think we should turn it over to Robert, and we can get some more songs going. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, so thank you.
Jolie, we just want to hear some more songs, so please keep rolling another song, and then we'll take it from there.
All right. I just want to say this guitar is made by Nick Linsky at Briar Road Guitars. It's so freaking beautiful. It's like it's purple heartwood. This super gorgeous arch top parlor guitar that he made for me. I'm saving all the love that I ever had for you. I'm saving all my love. I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna lose my love. I'm not gonna lose. Rattlesnake inside the box, and an old top hat on the stand. Rose silk and a cherry wine. If you ever come back here again, I got it for you. I'm not gonna lose. I won't lose my love. I won't lose. Oh my goodness. I won't lose. I won't lose my love. Blackbird called me say hello, and I busted out into tears. Take it fast or take it slow. You could give it a million for a year. I got it for you. I'm not gonna lose. I won't lose my love. I won't lose my love. I won't lose my love. I'm saving all the love that I ever had for you. I'm saving all my love. I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna lose my love. I'm not gonna lose.
Whew! Lovely, thank you.
It's too many chords in that song.
I talked to the person who wrote it about that. Time has flown, so we have a little. It doesn't matter what generally. What I'm hoping we can do now is you'll play another one, then I'll play one, then you'll do another one, and then it will be time for Stump the Band.
All right. I was just thinking about this Jimmy Dale Gilmore song.
I love Jimmy Dale Gilmore.
I think of this as like he's like a he's a teenage weirdo, and he's in love with this like redneck girl in the middle of nowhere in Texas. And he's like trying to express himself, and she's like, okay,
She's not having it.
can't deal.
Been there.
I love this like bizarre existentialist love song. Well, tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown. Well, tonight I think I'm gonna look around for something I couldn't say when this world was more real for me. And tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown. My love is gone away. My love, what can I say? But she would never say that this world is just not real for me. And tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown. Well, I told my love 1,000 times that I can't say what's on my mind. But she could never say that this world is just not real for me. And tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown. Well, tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown. Tonight I think I'm gonna look around for something I couldn't say when this world was more real for me. And tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown. Yeah, tonight I think I'm gonna go downtown.
Woo, I love that song. And you singing it just is, thank you. That song's inside my body. Like I think I heard it, as a teenager or something, and it lives inside my body. I think of that song in a very deep down in my body sort of way. It's such a great song. How cool.
Yeah.
Have you met Jimmy Dale Gilmore?
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
It's the Flatlanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Do you know what he means when he says "There's another Colorado"?
I don't. Well, he's really into Buddhist philosophy, obviously. So, I assume it's some kind of uh, the the um, the floating world is the floating world, and yet
Okay.
kind of thing.
Okay. I think I was sort of leading that direction, but you know, maybe this happens to you. There are certain songs that are just so deep in my body. Like whenever anybody says Colorado, I
Mm.
think there's another Colorado. And sometimes I'm able to hold myself back from saying that out loud to the person, and sometimes I'm not. And it rarely makes any sense to the person I'm saying it to. I don't think once I've said it in someone's mind like, "Oh, Jimmy Dale Gilmore." No, they kind of look at me like, and then we move on to the conversation. But these songs, they live inside of us, and it's fun to sit around the kitchen table with you because not only are you a great songwriter, but you learn a bunch of other people's songs, and that turns me on. I love learning other people's songs.
Yeah,
So.
it was really sweet to hear you play that um, C.R. Avery song, even though it's a very creepy song.
It's a creepy
Um,
song. Yeah, well, he can pull it off way better. I had to change some lyrics just to be able to get it out. You know, he can do things only he can do.
you Disneyfied it a little bit.
Well, I'm not going to say that. I grew up Catholic. There's certain things that are difficult for me to say out loud. You know.
Mhm.
I'm going to stick with your. You're talking about doing a blues. I don't play a lot of blues. You know, you start playing guitar and you learn, you know, the basics of how a person does play the blues. But to truly play the blues is like a whole. It's a whole thing that I don't do. But occasionally I do something sort of like that. So I'm going to do this one here called. I think it's called "I Had a Glass of Wine." But
Yeah.
it's maybe only called that because that's the first lyric, and songs don't get titles until I record them, and I haven't recorded it, so it doesn't have a title yet.
Oh, cool. So it's new.
It's not new. I mean, nah, it's been around. I had a glass of wine, and I thought of you. Talked with a stranger who knew you too. I let out a sigh. He did not pry. One glass of wine, and I thought of you. I like the train, even if it's late. I'll give the station another day. Let it roll, one leg at a time. Pour the cork, have a little bit of wine. Drinking wine, thinking of you. I almost called, it's almost a thing to do. But my hand never reached the dial. Had you on my lips just a little while. 17 miles till we get to Eugene. This bus ain't bad, it's fast and it's clean. At the station, someone I know I used to love. One glass of wine, I'm all tore up. Have something to eat, it's bound to wear off. The mind will wander, the body will stray. No one can ever take anyone's place. And we'll have one more from Jolie, and then we'll play Stump the Band, which you and I did not talk about very much, but I hope that you got at least a peripheral warning that this would be happening. And I have a feeling you're going to be just fine.
Oh yeah, I like a challenge. It was really wistful. Like a fur of storm, come rolling up the plains, like the pull of the tide, with the full moon again, like the low and distant rumble, getting closer to the falls. I can feel this love coming on. I can feel this love coming on. Lightning flash, thunder crash, and the night come down. And the stars swing around when you take my hand. I swung like I was stoned. I can feel this love coming on. I can feel this love coming on. Please, lay down with my heart, 'cause I'm in love with you. with you. And I know that you do me injustice. And I know that you won't do me harm. And I hope you do me the honor of letting me love you so strong. Let me love you on and on. Let me love you like I want. Please, McDonald with my heart, 'cause I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. Beautiful. That's on a record of yours.
That's on a record called Wine Dark Sea,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's very it's very noisy
Yeah.
on the record.
Noisy. What's that great poet from the grunge era? More noise, please. I'm just free associating over here. It is time to stump.
Even Jesse Bernstein.
Yes, I knew you would know. I knew you would know. More noise, please. I live downtown, and there's noise every morning and night. I just think more noise, please.
I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were into St. Jesse.
Well, I was there, but I was a little young. But my cousin Chad was there in every way. He was the guy who hung up all the posters for the music in Seattle in the late 80s and the 90s. And a shout out to cousin Chad in the film Singles. They got Chad in the film, and at the start of the film, you see Chad hanging up the poster and that's it. That's the only time he's in the film. But they got the legit poster hanger at the start of that film. And Chad gave me his book of poetry, so that's
Cool.
my introduction there. Hey,
His stepson was hanging out in my scene in Austin, Texas, and that's how we got introduced to him. But me and my people will quote Stephen Jesse Bernstein at each other.
Very cool, very cool. Let's stump the band. What happens here is somebody calls in. They present 3 requests to us, right, all in a row. You and I look at each other through the ones, the zeros, the cables, and the screens, and think who can do something with these requests. And sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. And we have a very special caller, my dear buddy, who I went to high school with, and we've been close ever since. He's calling in all the way from Missouri. Sean Franzel, are you on the line?
Hey.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Jolie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Very good. All the way from Missouri to Los Angeles, up to the most northwest corner. These are the times you live in. What's going on in Missouri, Sean?
Yeah, hey. Well, we're just watching the Super Bowl out here and tuning in and just enjoying life. Been enjoying hearing you guys play. Jolie, good, really great to hear you play. We'd love to see you out here in Columbia, Missouri. I remember fondly you playing out here in 2015, and hope you pass through again sometime soon.
Nice. Jolie, do you remember 2015 in Columbia, Missouri?
I think it was actually, maybe it was it might have been 2014.
Okay.
Or 2014, okay. Yeah, 2014. Could be, yeah.
Uh,
Sometime in that general time frame. But I was really love your music. Really good to see both of you guys. I would mention, you know, with you mentioning Mark Ribot, I'm a big fan of his music and him being a guitar player for Tom Waits. Love to hear a Tom Waits song from one of you guys. That would be my first call. Another thing that my wife and I were thinking about was hearing an Anais Mitchell tune. I don't know if either of you guys could pull one out of your bags there. And then the final one comes from our kids. I've never heard this song, but they sing it nonstop. I think it goes something like, "We don't talk about Bruno." Do you guys know anything about this song? We don't talk about Bruno. So that would be my sort of
we don't talk
stump the band.
Isn't there a famous band right now with Bruno Mars? Bruno Mars. Is this Bruno's
Let's
song
talk about Bruno.
themselves?
So that would be what I throw out there to you guys. Yeah. So
okay, those are some great
you.
requests. I think that we're going to send the research librarians in our brain back to the dusty files to see what they can bring up and what they can tell us to do through the hands. But just one last question back to Missouri. Sean, did you get inspired by these Canadian Caesars and make one for yourself?
Canadian Caesars.
This is the drink of the week here. We're drinking these Canadian Caesars. They just call them Caesars. So maybe that's throwing you.
That does look delicious.
It does look, and it is delicious. It is delicious, but it didn't inspire yourself on this Sunday evening.
Good to see you.
All right. Good. Thank you for the great request. And Jolie and I are going to figure out what we're going to do. Do you want to go first? Do you have something that's jumping out at you?
I got to have Passover with Anais Mitchell one time, but I don't know. I couldn't play any of her songs on the spot here.
Okay. How about old TW?
I feel like I might not have I feel like I don't
I'll tell you what, I'll go first.
right.
And that'll give you an extra moment for the research librarians in your brain to see just what those dusty files really can produce. And other than that, I guess then we'll just have to play Where's Bruno? That is May and Louie, who are ages, approximately 7 and 10. Sorry, my niece and nephew, that I didn't get that quite right, but I'm in the realm. And speaking of not getting it quite right, but being in the realm, I'm going to do the song. I did actually play the song about 3 months ago. It's one of my favorite Anais songs. Percy Persuade, won't you open up your heart? I didn't come to break your cadence, or to make sure. When the rhyme scheme isn't there, I know I did something wrong. Let's take a second shot at it. Percy Persuade, won't you open up your door? I haven't come to break your cadence, or to make your metaphor. If I swore I was no critic, would you let me come inside? Will you make your secret plan for suicide by sleight of hand? You let me down so kindly. You don't love me, you don't mind me. Persuade. After all your hard travel, you think a girl could lie beside you without your heart unraveling in a maudlin mess. Yes, that's my clothing in a pile. Just want to see your crooked smile, see that crooked grin after the sedative set in. Hey, and ain't we feeling fine? Purse Warden, I'll be gone before you wake. Back to the gallery of failures to see what I can make of you. Purse Warden. Alright, again. Purse Warden, I'll be gone before you wake. Back to the gallery of failures to see what I can make of you. Purse Warden. Maybe I don't want to call it art just because you hung it on the wall. Maybe I'm a critic after all. You don't love me, but you don't mind me. You don't love me, but you don't mind me.
Awesome.
Percy Ward, and she recorded that song on a record she made between her last big record and her new big record. She made a record of solo acoustic oddities.
Cool.
And then she made a Tony-winning opera. So there we go.
Yeah.
Did Tom come to you?
Well, I used to do this one. I don't, I'd hate to get the lyrics wrong, but,
Oh, I just got a bunch of lyrics wrong.
well, the line in the line to my dog, you're a tilt-a-whirl. $3 for the shot at a real live dog. Oh, the lies that you tell, I remember them well. Take them back take them back to your red house. For that fearful leap into the dark. Oh, I did my time in the jail of your arms. Now Ophelia wants to know where she should turn. Well, tell me, what did you do? What did you do the last time? Well, why don't you do that? Go on ahead, take this the wrong way. Time's not your friend. Oh, how do your pistol and your Bible and your sleeping pills go? Are you still jumping out of windows and expensive clothes? Did you bury the carnival with the lions and all? Excuse me while I sharpen my nails. And tell me, who are you? Who are you this time? You look rather tired. Well, are you pretending to love? I hear that it pays well. I'm gonna call it there.
Woo! Woo! It works for me. I just gotta say that works for me. Was that a tune? Would you do that in your sets, or was that what you did at the after party after a few drinks of this, that, or the other thing?
We did it a little bit.
Yeah.
We did it on the road. I used to play this incredibly sad song that he wrote called "The Fall of Troy," but I won't. I won't subject us to that.
Okay. Okay, we appreciate that because it's dark here and it's cold and it's February. We might be able to handle that in May or something, you know.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, in the middle of a pandemic, you know.
Well, even Tom Waits, what a mountain. I did one 4th of July, my buddy Pete from the band Hot Damn Scandal, he and I sat around a fire and we went back and forth singing Tom Waits songs, which is remarkable to me because right now I can't think of any, even though I know that if I got started on it, half dozen or a dozen or more, I would do it. But all to say the show is almost over. It should be over, but I don't want it to be over. So I want to do one more, and I'm hoping you'll do one more. And we're going to push past our normal ending time just a little bit. And that's something you can do when you're not on network television. So that's one of the things we got going for us right now. But this guy, I want to send this one out to my sweetheart because it's Valentine's Day. And also we were talking about Jimmy Dale Gilmore and his Buddhist influence. And then also you had a song earlier about mountains. You were talking mountains earlier in the set. And so send this out to my sweetheart for Valentine's Day. Peter Rowan song. We all live on our own mountain, our own mountain so high. We all live on our own mountain, our own mountain so high. I'm calling you. From my mountain to your mountain, from my mountain so high. From my mountain to your mountain, from my mountain so high, I'm calling my mountain to your mountain, from my mountain so high. From my mountain to your mountain, from my mountain so high, I'm calling you. I'm calling you.
That's really sweet. There's fireworks over here. Can y'all hear it?
Fireworks. Oh, is one of the games in the bowl, one of the bowls in the game, one of the teams in the game from Los Angeles?
I don't know.
I love that. But we're figuring that out because there's fireworks in Los Angeles. This means something.
I don't keep up with the superb owls or the sports ball. I mean, I appreciate a good owl. You know,
yeah.
When I see it,
Hoot.
I do love a good owl.
Night owl, barn owl.
Yeah, I like great horned owl.
Spotted.
Yeah. White horned owl. I can't remember what key this song is in. Kinda feel like every year I might. But I have a song that mentions an owl, so I feel like I should play it. Normally somebody else in the band plays the guitar part, even though I wrote it, because I'm so spoiled. Fly on a sign, making dollars and dimes in the golden smog of the afternoon. Trying to remember some old hobo song. And I won't know where I'm headed till I'm further along. One foot in front of the other on the lost highway. One foot in front of the other on the lost highway. I can't make out the way. Oh, I can't make out the way. Oh. Follow my boot heels down the dusty road where the LA River is 6 inches wide. Try down my TV for the full moon glow. Watching the stars roll every night. One foot in front of the other on the lost highway. One foot in front of the other on the lost highway. I can't make out the way. Oh, I can't make out the way. Oh. Great horned owl slipping by the overpass. Gonna feel like every year might be my last. Look to my companions, they've got nothing to say. Kicking in my footsteps down the lost highway. One foot in front of the other on the lost highway. One foot in front of the other on the lost highway. I can't make out the way. Oh, I can't make out the way. Oh. We have great horned owl's nest around here. You know, because as urban as it is, there's still just, you know, it's so hilly that like there's these huge very wild parks, you know, where you can't walk your chihuahua off a leash because it will become a coyote snack. And I heard them all night. I heard
Wow.
them all night long. They were just hooting, and this pair that stays around here is just calling out to each other. So I feel very bad for the urban wildlife right now. My dog is really sad because of these fireworks.
Ah,
But,
yes.
you know, the
Well,
the higher primates have to throw a party.
we're gonna let you tend to the dog then, because it is the end of the show. But what a joy to have you here. You are absolutely welcome at the kitchen table anytime. And
It
thank
was
you.
so much fun, and you're
Good.
such a great host. It's such a sweet show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we hope to see you back in Bellingham before too long. And thank you, everybody, for coming out to Robert Sarazin Blake in the kitchen and the kitchen table. Robert Sarazin Blake from the kitchen table with a
My name is
special,
David, Robert.
our special guest, Jolie Holland. Jolie, well, I know what we need to say. We need to say that please do go sign up for Jolie's Patreon and send her a little bit of digital bread on a regular basis. And also please send us a chunk of bread from your digital wallet to our digital wallet so we can send a chunk of bread down to Los Angeles, because we are so grateful for Jolie being on the show. And the bread just needs to spread around. That's how this whole thing works. We just got to move it around. And I pledge every bit of digital bread that I take, I will be spreading around to somewhere else before the week is over. I do make that pledge. How do we get to the Patreon? It's a digital world. We just Jolie Holland / Patreon.
I'm Jolie Holland on the Patreons, and I have 2 records coming out this year.
Good.
Yeah.
Are they recorded?
Mostly, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Right on. You're going to be back on the road.
I mean, who
Yeah.
knows about that mess? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks again. We wrap up every week with this song from our buddy Hank Waddell, who plays every Monday night at Charlie's Bar in Cork City. And I don't know how much you remember when we met a long, long time ago, but I have this nugget that I remember saying. I don't know what we were talking about, places we'd like to live, and I said, I'd like to live in Ireland for a while. And you said, why? I lived in Ireland for a while, and I was cold all the time. I just sat in the pub drinking tea to keep warm. Am I remembering that correctly?
No, I didn't really live there. I visited a friend of mine over there, and he was dirt poor, and I was dirt poor. So it was, I mean, going on any kind of vacation when you're incredibly poor is a silly idea. So, yeah, I was freezing.
But what's not a silly idea is what you said at the time. You said, I'd like to try living in Spain. So that's probably a good idea. And you've ended up in Los Angeles, which in some ways is not so different than Spain.
Yeah, it's colonized. I mean, this building.
Yeah.
I mean, this building that I'm in is Spanish style, Yeah, definitely.
And I think at that time I had maybe not been to Ireland, or maybe once, and Ireland became a big part of my touring life for 15, 20 years. And
Awesome.
so you ended up in Spain and I ended up in Ireland, and here we are at the kitchen table. And
Where are your people from? What is Saracen?
Sarazin's French. And
Okay.
a lot of members of my family would say Sarazin. It's of dispute. So that's my grandmother Maxine was her maiden name, Maxine Sarazin. And Blake is one of the 12 tribes of Galway. So yeah.
Wow.
But
I love that.
We've been my people have been on the North American continent for a long time, so I don't knock on any doors when I'm back that direction. Although there are some I mean, I guess we're over time. We aren't charged for this. I mean, I can talk my grandmother Anita May, what a beautiful name. She's from somewhere town not too far from New Orleans, but I don't. So there are potentially some doors I could knock on down there.
Is she the Frenchy one?
Definitely.
Okay,
But oddly, both of my sides of the family, mother and father side, are both Irish and French. So it's we got a lot of Irish and French going on.
I just one of the records that I worked on recently, we had a French engineer, and I told him like my old grandma's French last name from New Orleans, and he said, "Oh, that's probably Basque."
Cool.
And like your name doesn't sound classically French, so I wonder if it's some kind of traveler through.
Sarazin is the French word for buckwheat, and
Oh,
it's
cool.
what the Crusaders called the Muslims.
Exactly. That's what I was
yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
the connection.
I didn't know. Yeah, I thought Saracen, and I didn't realize like, oh, I wonder if y'all are like Sephardic.
Right. No, not that I'm aware of. And
Okay.
I also learned, interestingly enough, that the Saracen is a British military vehicle that went through West Belfast, and so you have to be careful. I have to be careful with my names in certain moments, although I'm pretty clearly an American. But names, words, they have effects on people.
Yeah, that's cool. Buckwheat. I didn't
Buckwheat.
know. I didn't know about that.
And what is your family French name?
Jusant.
Jason. I don't even know how to spell that.
Juzan.
Beautiful. Jason.
Jusant. Yeah.
Jason. Okay, we got to end the show.
Right.
It's over, but stay on the line. We'll have a little chat to say goodbye after we say goodbye to everybody else. But we do this song at the end of the show. Whenever you're in Cork City, and if you're there on a Monday, Jolie and everyone else, call into Charlie's Bar down on the quay, and you'll see Hank and Ray, and hopefully they'll do this song. It's great to see you,
So good to see you.
because we thought you were dead. Did you come back to life? Did you get out of your bed? It's great to see you. Or is that your ghost? We thought you were gone. Burnt toast, it's great to see you. Whisper nothing, sing softly on your ear. Try not to cut short the moment that's here. Shadow it might be, feeling's clear. I couldn't ask for anything more. It's all about the times we share. It's all about the times we share. It's great to see you. Are you gonna stay? Are you here for the long night? Are you leaving at the break of day? It's great to see you. Yeah, it's true. It's great to see you. It's great to be near you. It's all about the times we share. It's all about the times we share. It's all about the times we share. Thank you, David Penderloff, and thank you, Jolie Holland. Thank you, Jeremy Meehan, and thank you to Connor Helms. That's our production team here. Thanks to everybody who joins us at the kitchen table, wherever you may be, from the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state, and the lower 48 to wherever you are. We say goodnight. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. It's really beautiful.
Can you hear me?